push back on the teams that are throwing tasks at you. You need a strong project manager in China who is able to say, wait a minute, this doesn't have, you're planning for the best effort. There's no slack here. And we're all set up to fail if you do that, right? And so all of those aspects is something that I would encourage you to really, really emphasize project management skills in China groups and reward them when they are good at it. You cannot go wrong with this. Okay, so on the US side again, there is a pent-up frustration that again goes back to what we said before. Is China team wants to grow up and scale, do big things, better things, and so forth. But you know what? You always run into this barrier called not open, unclear. There's no open and clear communication. You feel that there's a lot of things going on, so the way I look at it is this: when you were doing manufacturing type of activity, maybe creative brain thinking, maybe open communication, ad hoc, impromptu, hey, let's brainstorm, maybe that didn't have that much of a value, maybe. But you know what? You want to do better competitive product design and development? Your barrier is not technical skill. Your barrier is how you can communicate, how you can open up and invite open ideas and make them part of the design process. And that, again, I'm saying that is probably changing a lot in the social media, internet type of software world. But where I come from, chip industry, manufacturing, is still kind of sort of stuck in a little bit of a cloistered, closed communication. But it's good to, and then my point is this: if you're in charge of a company like this in China, my only conclusion is this: that because of the way things run there, only a CEO can change that attitude. It has to come from top down.
Yes.
And even here, well, maybe you see some mavericks here in the US because of the cultural thing, but when you're talking about, you want to make sure you have a very dynamic CEO who is able to recognize that, you want to do product development, skill is fine, but you want to enhance this part of it. That is where you need to.
And just really quick, that's a good point, because when you talk about that, you think it's partnering. It's a partnership, and you do partner with a project manager. Okay, yeah, he studied at the Darden Award in business school. That doesn't, a lot of people may say, well, okay, he studied here, he's in both worlds, this is our guy. No, you still have to look at there's a lot of more layers that you have to look at, because you really have to understand how he is embedded into the culture back home.
Correct.
Don't make this, he speaks Chinese and okay, this is going to be enough. No, it's a lot deeper than that. And making sure, because he may understand the language here in the U.S. regarding businesses, but his connection, his contribution, his culture is still rooted back home, so it still has to be.
Totally, yeah. Good point, yeah. And I will even, this is something that obviously you need to be firm about some things, right? And if you see something like this in China, if you're a China, I always look for, chances to go work in China and so forth. But my advice to people who are looking for an opportunity in China is that, look, don't try to change that. If you see a pattern like this, leave. You'll find plenty of other companies. Don't waste your time. That is the only way you can weed out the bad behaving companies and bring out the good companies into the fore. Again, another organizational thing I'll quickly wrap up is. The US guys typically feel that, look, China team really, they don't take any action unless they have authority or permission from their manager. We talk so much about what your action item is, your task is in group meetings, but then you go away and then you didn't deliver anything. But then when I ask you what happened, we just agreed that you're going to turn something back to me in 3 days. You come back and say, well, my manager didn't really give me any authority, and then it kind of goes into this big management discussion, and then you have to pick up the manager's phone and then ask them, can you? So now there is a an element of personal politics, again, a political intrigue between different groups in a big company or in a company in China. There is that. There is a lot of it there in China companies, in China offices of any company. No doubt about it. I've experienced it personally, and it is not something that is pleasant. But again, what you want to do is you want to insist that your China manager actually use her position to try to ward off any of this. Meaning, there are some 2 or 3 tactical things you can do. I know this sounds a little bit simplistic, but trust me, they have helped me a lot to a degree to remove the negative environment from the company, right? And I've seen many times that China offices tend to have closed doors and people hunker down looking at their laptop. They're not looking at anything else, and that is not a healthy environment. Keep, make a policy in place that just keep everything open, all the office doors open, let people come in and talk to you, knock on door, and encourage that policy. And one other important thing is, and maybe this is just my experience, maybe this is not a widely held phenomenon, but it is awfully difficult to know who is who in a China office unless you are in the in the team itself. In other words, just like in U.S., it's very easy for us to drop an org chart and very clearly define responsibilities, who is handing over to what, and so forth. That kind of a open organization chart is usually held in released with some hesitation in China, and you want to encourage that more and more and more. Openly let everyone know what everyone else is doing and how everyone else is contributing, and then keep the communication flow going, keep the air flowing very freely. Now these may sound to you, if you have not encountered these problems, there are little steps that may not help that much, but trust me, they will. They will go a long way in helping yourself when you do this, and trying to create an environment that will sort of go away from this. And lastly, again, I'm going to round it up and insist on one last point, is I am always, the reason why I put together this lessons learned and then eventually it became a book, is I am quite excited about how the Chinese organizations and companies and partnering with them is going to make our lives a lot more exciting. Whatever business you're in, you're going to make an exciting decision if you partner with a Chinese partner or have a presence in China domestic market. But at the end of the day, you are always going to have to encourage that they should learn how to use product marketing language. In other words, product marketing language is what is a competitive product, what is a creative product, what are the market segments and what are the low-hanging fruits, and how you want to differentiate your product and how you want to market your product, not just sell your product. Selling is different from marketing, right? Marketing is, like I said here, mostly it's listening intelligently. Selling is talking. At least that's what bad salespeople do, right? But mostly sales and marketing both is really listening intelligently what the people are telling you. Whenever you open your mouth and talk, they'll respond. And your job is to shut up and listen to what they're saying and record it and use it wisely, right? And again, like I said, and this is just a general statement, but this one is the project management. I cannot emphasize enough. You must insist on having good project management skills, because that goes very well with the product marketing language, right? And if you get a good marketing guy or a gal with this, then you have, you just have to hire better. There are no tactical solutions. You just have to rinse and repeat, teach, rinse and repeat. And so, I guess that pretty much, like I said, I was saying, some try to make it